back to my channel. So for today's video, you guys, I wanted to just get into contract agreements just to actually understand the reasonable of contract terms. The reason why I have Holy Death as a contract of like, because that's Saint Martha. Because you have to understand on the terms of contracts. Life is a contract. We all have a purpose in this world, but one day we leave this world because our time is always wasted on certain things on our contract of life. Because life gives us a purpose of opportunity. But when we focus on everything else in our life that steers our mission of objective, what contracts actually are we faced with? Wasting our life purpose or wasting away of a purpose? Exactly. Feeling too brokenhearted, feeling too happy, feeling good, feeling successful, feeling like you prideful about your accomplishments in this world that we live in. That lets you know that life has a contract because we're not all here forever. No one's on this earth forever. That's right, exactly. So we all are faced with an hourglass of time to let us know that on our life purpose of mission, this is how our contract of life goes. Because life does give us a purpose. Life gave us a purpose while we were born. That's why we were born from our moms and our dads. It gave us a purpose. It gave us a reasoning to why we were here, not a jurisdiction of reasonings of why we were born here. Because that's what I understood about contracts. And it's not in the best of alignment because I took skincare and I took my own education, you guys. So, of course, with contract terms and policies, I just wanted to act like to let other people know in the requirements to understand such theories of contracts too, just so they can actually feel the acknowledgments to understand. Like it's like this, you guys. Like you know how like in jobs when we've been working there for several years and then we quit. It doesn't mean that there was another job landing for us based on how long we were there, because we're probably too elderly and too wise enough or everything else. Yes, because why we're on a time clock, everybody. We have a time of expiration dates. But life does give us a purpose each and every day. But we do have a time clock of expirations. So, of course, with contracts terms, I just wanted to get into this video with you guys. Just because life, I just wanted to let you guys, life has a purpose of a contract. That's why Holy Death is here, St. Martha, because it's like we're running out of time each and every day, to fulfill our desire of our outreach of life, to make us feel what we wanted to feel of harmony, of our own justice of life. Because life is an everyday process, but what have we seen in history? With slaves, what have we seen as? But remember, it was color related. So what happened? They prosecuted us. They wanted to make us racial viewpoints, demonize us in their own best lighting of what they deemed for us to look like, to be able to talk about us as a population of a wholeness of a color, to say that there's only one color that understand business ownership, but business ownership is deemed in everybody's alignment to want to find out. Not, I don't want to know these types of thinkings. I don't want to know that life has a purpose. And of course, every day, life gives me other reasons and an exit of a reason too, because that's how life is. That's all what we're in a life game, because that's this life game. We have a purpose in this world to be somebody. But what purpose are you standing for of a purpose of mission? I wanted to make sure for my purpose, as my own reasoning, because of course, this is my truth. I wanted my ancestors to know that there's justice, that I was here. I won't allow history to reshape on the manners it shaped on history again. Because why? Because history is a mark of a beast. It's the history that is mark of a beast. That's why. And of history components, I know women from different colors. I have sisters, I have compadres and friends and amigos and everything else and business friends too. So on these types of thinkings also, Life gives us a purpose. So why would we waste our time reflecting on something that happened 600 years ago? Why would we focus on something that happened 5,000 years ago? Why will we focus on something that happened 100,000 years ago if today is the only purpose of the mark of a history, of changes of history? Because history is a mark of a beast. Because when we look at history every day, we see in the symbol that history was a beast among us. Because we had slavery, we had everything that broke us down in harmony. And of course, this is Nefertiti, and I'm a legal woman, and I deem this theory in jurisdictional terms of contracts. So that's why I wanted to actually give the understanding to my fellow audience to understand this thinking too with me. Of course, this is just the legal reaction of contracts of suggested partnerships, just so they can understand how long of a purpose we're here and how long of a contract terms every day is for us to actually notice our purpose of why we were here. So we don't waste our time when who doesn't like us, who likes us, who does, who's not our friend, who is our friend. Exactly. We don't have a lot of purpose every day to think of those theories because we deem it in the best of our acknowledgments as adults, because I do adult thinking and adult therapy. So we deem if somebody made stupid remarks towards us, then what do we think of justice for us to think? Exactly. The brain switch of our humanity of the cycles. Because if they don't like us, then we don't like them. They like us, we like them. However, where did it all come from? It came from a base where? Do our history of our slave history. That's why I'm saying this acknowledgement to let you guys know on contracts so you can actually understand what contract really means. So, with that being said, let's get into this video. So, you guys do know when you sign a contract, it's legal. It's a legal attribution. It's not something that's theoretical of approach of established. Because once when you sign a contract in business platforms or in life, because once when you sign a contract, a contract is serious. A contract is not something to play around with. You remember our slave masters back in the olden days, they signed contracts to other slaves to free slaves. Why? Because slave masters wanted to take their account of responsibility just to guys their own justice, their comprehension of their own theory of what they think too. Because obviously, why would a slave master free slaves if they didn't understand a contract of reasonings? It's to understand history was the repetition if history was going to happen again. Because that's why slavery was freed among multiple people who freed it back in the olden days of 1856, because that's when slavery was among us, you guys. So yes, you guys, we did face slavery once upon a time. But as a new enlightenment, as a new generation, we're not trying to say slavery still is among us. We know the facts. We know it. It's not that we don't. We know. Of course, contracts are legal. So, of course, they're legal stamp of testimony of contract terms. And the policy of a contract is meaning it's a business proposal of a declaration. Of course, you guys know I have a wisp like accent, so sometimes like some words that demographically are just too much for my wisp to actually speak of it. It's not that I'm not speaking of it in the best of light. It's just too much to theorize in one type of day. So yeah, you guys. So this is like, because be careful when you sign your pen and paper on contracts, because that's what you're doing. You're made a sealed contract. That's what business ownership looks like. That's what business announcements look like. That's what business ceremonies is about. When you say, hey, that's my amigo, those are spoken words of contracts. You've spoken a word that was your friend, just like you've spoken a word that it was your enemy. Exactly. those are signals of contracts still too. Because why? You made your proposal and you made your demographic view terms of what you think of a contract for you to think. Everybody has the freedom to think, yes, but on contract terms, it's just they need to understand on such serialized thinking also of what a contract actually means. Because when someone says like the act of war, what does a series of a contract do we actually think? Oh, now we got to do pooling of people to bring people onto our contract of terms of policies because they said they're with us to the last day. Exactly. Those are contracts. That's how a contract is. It's not theoretically a viewpoint just to say, once this contract gives me what I want, I can exit this contract and I can break and rip this contract up. No, because you have your contract and they have their contract. That's why you always have two substantial contracts. Like for me, for my spiritual soldiers, I let them hold on to their contract in their wallets because they made a business proposal for me and I made a business proposal for them because I let them hold on to the guarantee that we both have our contract of term. So, of course, because contracts are not something that is theorized of agreement just to see it in your own mission of mind of a contract. Because the overall contract is the business mindset of it all, of agreements. So, with that being said, let's get more into all the different types of contracts, just so we can actually understand a little series of how, in the legal world, how justice is served based on the contracts we signed. Of course, being a colored person, there's a contract that I signed in the eyes of the law to be able to stand tall and to be able to be spoken to in the best way of light. However, in self defense empowerment, I also know that the safety of my own people and the safety of my own family is the demons of my own enlightenment of everything I do every day because there's nothing else of a solid contract than making sure you take care of your business. Because if you don't take care of your business, who will? Who will take care of you if you didn't take care of your business? Because life has a purpose, but if you didn't take care of yourself for your own contract of your own purpose in this world, who else will take care of your own contract for you? Because remember, not everybody's rooting with us. Of course, we know this. As colored people, we already know this. Excuse me. But as a colored people, I'm not sick, you guys. I'm feeling better. But as colored people, we already know this theory that our color is a mark of history still. Because why? We remember history has a history of a peace manner. But when you sign contracts, just understand on the protocol of acknowledgments of agreements to understand in business, partnership, sales, income, tax, and everything else in one of a humanized contract to understand too. So I just wanted to get into this for you guys as a legal coach and as a legal secretary so that way I can actually talk about contracts. So yeah, you guys, so let's get into this, you guys. Most people think in contract terms and policies that they always have to understand the exit of one contract of for passage. Okay, so that's why I have this cube right here. We played these when we were kids, like fortune tellers type of cubes. But it's a yellow, green, blue, and red symbol. But when you think about those symbols when we're younger of a contract thinking in mind, what would it give you of a signal in mind if you're doing reading to tell? Because remember, it's like a fortune reading. That's what we used to play the game when we were kids. Exactly. So what did it ever ring of a bell of when you used to make these type of cubes also? That, oh yeah, if you open this card, it's this. If you open this card, it's that. If you open this card, it's this. And if you open that card, it's that. But overall, what is the biggest contract at the finish board of all of it? So you have to actually open all of the paper of the cube up to actually see what's in the middle of the contract, just to understand too. Because sometimes appearances are not all appearances, you guys. Sometimes in legal too, because I'm a legal woman, so I speak on my own knowledgements of legal secretary as I do. Sometimes in those contracts, there's a big final print when you open it of the justice of the comprehension that you needed to understand too. Because, yeah, it's like a cube. Yeah, it has four corners. Yeah. But what is the biggest flag inside the contract to understand too? Because there's something that you're missing when you're just looking like, oh, let's open this one. Let's open this one. Let's open this one. And let's open this one. But we never took the piece of paper and opened it entirely to read all of the contract listed above. So we can actually see everything it says. Because remember, that's how the cube works. Because you're only missing a final print of a cube. You're only getting one missionary of mindset in mind. And why I say missionary, I say because it's as like, because, when it's the subject at hand, it's making you more submissive of missionary status, but it's taking the upper hand towards the contract that you just signed onto the reason why you signed that contract. Exactly. So that's why I said, because it puts you on a submissive side of a contract if you don't understand the terms and policies of all the agreements listed above that signature line. So, with those reasonings, I want to get more into a contract terms and policies. And of course, you guys, I know that sometimes my voice, and I know I'm coughing. I only have a cough just because I feel good. I just had a cough because, when you're like having airways, it's just you have to breathe, take a couple deep breaths because contracts are they're not something to play around with because, it's like, you get nervous when you think about a contract that goes wrong, you see. So it makes you start coughing because you're getting nervous on a contract you must read wrong to understand too. So with that being said, let's get into this, you guys. So I want to talk about this one. This is a business partnership agreement. So the two names of listed and then the location of where they're listed at and where they were located at to make this theoretical approach of this contract. Like Thomas Edison, Jeffrey Hansen, I'm just saying different, like, if they were presidencies, but they're not, like, but I'm just saying names just to say things. Of course, everybody has the freedom of speech to announce everything they want to announce, of course. However, on these theoretical approaches, it says this name, and then the location where they were located, both where they met. What did they term of a contract when they both met each other? Because remember, you meet people every day. We're adults, you guys. This is adult inspiration. This is adult thinking of contracts. So we can understand the realization of legal contracts too. Because, there's a reason why we have a friend and there's a reason why we have an enemy. Why did they become an enemy? It's because our business agreement of a contract term ended. And because it ended, we now have an enemy on our shoulder because they don't understand the final view of what it is. So a business partnership agreement just means if I help you win, you're going to help me win too. But what do you mean on a series of helping you win? What are you helping me win with? And exactly, those are those types of contracts that you have to learn about too. Because obviously, in a business partnership agreement, we understand that we're just independent contractors. You guys, I claim myself as an independent contractor at my own business because, you know, when we're working every day for our own purpose of acknowledgement, I'm an independent contractor trying to get my foot into a better secure spot in my life. So I know my business of why I stand tall and I do my business as appropriate. Like, because you guys know, like, employees are good. Yeah, it's a good way to build yourself up in the company. Yes. However, when you're an independent contractor, you deem of it in their business practice of a business partnership for you too. Because you're an independent contractor, they're just hiring you. But remember, jobs are only temporarily, you guys. I'm not saying that no someone's job is temporarily. No, I'm not wishing you negative mindsets. No. However, it's just a theoretical approach of business partnership of agreements goes. Because you guys know that. It's like I'm 24, but I worked really hard when I was young, yes. But on a substantial evidence, I worked so hard when I was 18 to now I'm 24. So that way I'm in the best of alignment where I am today, moving forward. However, on these types of contracts, not everybody understood this term too of an independent contractor and just a normal employee. And then, yeah, because obviously that's this business partnership of agreements. I helped you win, you helped me win, and your job was you good because I needed you for your aspiration of your dream, and I needed myself for my aspiration of my dream too. So with that being said, let's get into the next one. So this is a general partnership agreement. This is basically saying so all the people in the embodiment of this contract, meaning how many people all made this contract with you. Obviously, for this contract, for myself, my ancestors made this contract for me. That's why Nefertiti, an Egyptologist, knows this too. Nefertiti is here. Queen Nefertiti is among us, you guys. So, of course, on general partnership agreements is me letting them understand of the theoretical approach of their business substantial of evidence too of contract policies and terms. So, yes, you guys, because this is a general partnership of agreements. Of course, YouTube's lawyers already understand of the signature line that I already signed above for the general partnership of agreement. Also, for my business growth and my business aspiration of dream too. But they're my lawyers, I'm my lawyer, and I'm from Middle East, and I know Egyptologist lawyers also understands too. So we're working all together on the jurisdictional lane of what we point out and what we want to deem reasonable of justice for us to know too. Because that's called business general partnership of agreements also, because it's the best of our acknowledgments for the both of us of agreement. So that's just the best way to say about general partnership of agreements. A partnership agreement, this agreements of a contract is like this a partnership contract. This is when I was talking about the Kim Kardashian and Ray J's video of porn makeup of their theoretical approach, but I'm not into their contract because their lawyers is taking care of their proceedings. But on this type of mindset, because I was in the porn business too, you guys. So this is when partnership agreements were mentioned. When you signed above signature line of what will be at risk and what will be at take, this is how those contracts are. There's something at risk and there's something to take. But in a partnership of agreement, you seize the opportunity to sit down with each other to theoretically approach these type of agreements also for these types of contracts terms too, just so you understand. This is a partnership of agreement, meaning we work with each other, we work with each other. Not it's a theoretical where, oh, I'm only winning and then when you lose, I'ma still win. That means that's a shady business opportunity. That's what that means. From partnership agreements to business partnership agreements and just everything else in a legal mindset of business ownership with each other. That's why it's like, who is the person who owns the company? Who's the person who is second in command? That's how this business mindset works, of course. It's not a cat and dog race, of course, because a lot of people want to seize the opportunity like a cat and dog race first of achievement, yes, but in business ownership, That's just what you have to understand on general partnership terms of contracts too. So yeah. This one is the loan agreement. Like, let's say you had Auntie Shroll. I'm just gonna say that name. Okay. Sorry. And you took out a loan, excuse me, you guys, sorry. And you took out a loan from Auntie Shroll. I am African American, and let's say if you have an auntie named Bobby, that's just a free range of a name, you guys. It doesn't really discriminate on nobody's name or anything else. So I'm just moving ahead, okay? Our mom and dad or anything else, So yeah. So it's a loan agreement. Just like a loan agreement you took at school, you know. If you have student loans, you took out a loan agreement. You understood a signed signature line when you understood what you signed for how much of a loan you needed, right? They did tell you in the tax before your administration made you sign to go to school, right? That this is a loan agreement. Meaning if we help you with student loans, this is a loan of agreement. But remember, loans are loans. There is a method of repayment because you're going to have to repay one day or another, because that's how loan agreements are. Nobody gives a loan out just to give a loan out and say, don't pay. You ain't got to pay back me nothing. No, that's not how loan agreements are. Loan agreements are more trickery, and people's mindsets were on foolishness of what they wanted to think of theoretically deem it to be. But loans have agreements also. Loans do have agreements also, you guys. That's why you have to understand, as a person of any race and being an 18-year-old adult, on this type of thinking too of contract terms and policies, just so you are not feeling like I never knew about loan agreements, I never knew about business partnership, I never knew about anything on those central terms of legal substantial of evidence to understand the best of my acknowledgments of what a contract means. So yeah, you guys, it's time for you guys to understand that you guys are the masters of your own feet. You guys are the persons that can take care of your justice. I'm just my own legal coach. Of course, I listen to other people's stories and, of course, theoretically approach as I have to approach for my legal contract as a legal woman. So, yeah, you guys. So, of course, but I'm older. I'm an older woman back 3,500 years ago before the birth of Christ. So, of course, no central terms of government sees. It's just a lot more in depth because before all religions had multiple religions, I'm from 3,500 before the birth of Christ. So it's a long way before history made a mark to where we are now. So I'm just letting you guys understand that also. So this is a personal loan agreement. The personal loan agreement is which you go to a business and like you take a tax loan from them or something. It's not like a tax loan. It's, what is it? I don't know. It's like there's a lot of loan places in the market. You've probably been to one and you took out a personal loan. You maybe took a personal loan just for 2,000, 5,000, 4,000, no credit repair. It's not no credit. It's not that it's not no credit repair. No, I didn't mean it like that. I'm a financial coach, so I mean, I understand about credit marketing too, about how you have to keep your credit up and keep it in balance, so that way you're deemed as the best of justice as you need to. Remember, what's on your credit report stays on your credit report for 10 years. So when you do habits of spending and blowing money, saying, "Oh, I spent 50,000 that I didn't have, and I took a loan out," it stays on your report for about 10 years until you paid it back off. So you guys do realize that these are more like personal loans, though. But this one's is not a loan agreement. This is a personal loan. This could be like a student loan still, of course, This could be a car loan. This could be a house loan. This is just anything that's seen in the brightness of your own personal loan that you need upon yourself. Maybe you needed to take a loan for your car and you use, yes, you guys, yep, you guys get the picture. Maybe you needed to go get your registration bill and you took out a loan. Yes, maybe you were trying to undeem foreclosure. Yes, you guys, yes. Those are all personal loan agreements, just so you understand too. So, service contract. When we're talking about a service contract, do you guys know we live in a station of United States of America? So you guys know the service of agreements of terms of policies is if our country went to war, we would have to battle the endowment of what it would be because we have a service for our state and our country. You guys do know that's called the service contract. Men and women all have the service contract under them. That's why we have our own socials number. So if it's a service of contract, we know who best to call for the service of contract. That's how people like your name. Your name is a service contract. That's why make sure you stand tall, keep your name in the best alignment for your own reputation, because your reputation and your legacy goes a longer way. So it's the deeming of your own justice for your own service contract too. So you understand that's a service contract. You have the right of service of a contract to understand when you live in so many different secretaries of different like countries, because there's so many more into that thinking. So, like there's Russia, there's China, there's Middle East, there's United States, there's Mexico, there's Cuba. They all have a service contract. Okay, for military is a service contract. I have a mental health disorder, you guys. So of course, with mental health, you guys, they can't put you under like, because they can't fix. That's why, like my mental health, I have severe mental health, you guys. But I'm a working in my country in the Middle East. That's why I do therapy on this channel, so I can actually speak my mind from my own therapy, so I can get my mind rested. I am Nefertiti, I am Neferferat. Yes, Egyptologists, your lawyers already passed that bill and they already understand that terms too. Yes, YouTube's partnership, I understand we understand our terms of service too. So I understand of the business mindset of protocol of business establishments, what we deemed in the brightest way of justice for all among us too. So of course I already know that official statement, and you already know your words are also powerful, you guys. The choicements of your words are like night and day. What I mean by night and day, it means it could be good or bad based on what you said, just so you can understand that too. Because that's called the service of your contract. Or is it good or was it bad? That's how contracts are. So make sure you stand on your word, stand on your terms, and make sure you take care of yourself and make sure you understand the reasonings or point of views of contract terms too. And then everybody knows that everything has a service agreement of a terms of policies. Like YouTube has a service agreement, meaning don't disrespect our platform, don't make your platform deemed in the best way of a disrespectful remark of viewpoint. Because remember, YouTube partnership and ownership of business substantial evidence is a good theory because they had the brightest of justice among us, not somebody's, because remember, YouTube always grows. This says every business always grows and transforms themselves in the best of way. Google, Facebook, everything in business always has a start and a point to an end. But what I mean of a start to a point to an end is when they are establishing themselves better in a brighter way. That's why me as a legal woman working with my legal partnership contract terms too, and YouTube's platform also with their lawyers on my side also, and then Mid East lawyers of Egyptologist lawyers are also here onto my side also, so that way we're both understanding under our legal apprehension and legal understanding. So, because there's a terms of service agreement, you guys. There's a term of a service of agreement. And what terms is a term where it's a destructive term? When you're going against the terms of our service agreement. So when you're going against something of what we stand for, of a term of a service agreement, what are you thinking in your own theory analysis of report? You're deeming in your own best of acknowledgement of your own protocol of standards. But the term of the service agreement was mentioned above because this was your company name and the company name. So, what's your name? Nefertiti. And the company name? YouTube's Partnership of Business Establishments. So, we have a term of our service agreement that we mentioned and we signed based of our acknowledgement of our mindset of protocol of business relationship of partnership agreements because it's a legal official statement. That's why it's a terms of service agreement. That's why you hear in most of my videos for reactions, I always say it in the brightest way as it's supposed to be because it's growing each other. We're growing each other. YouTube's growing me and I'm growing YouTube because YouTube took care of my partnership of business aspirations and I'm taking care of my business aspirations for YouTube platform too. Just like I did in the adult entertainment industry, you guys. Yes, I'm a porn star. Yes. However, I did it in the brightest acknowledgments of what I had to deem reasonable. So I do my therapy of everything I've learned from men and everything I learned from other relationships that, because, it's the best way to actually establish yourself so as a counselor to understand the theoretical approach of opinion of gestures too. Because obviously it's a terms of service of agreement. If you know something, stand on what you know. Because when you know something, it might change somebody else's way of thinking too. That's why it's just the terms of the service of agreement. This is dual citizenships agreements. So I'll let you guys read into this. So I'll stop talking so you guys can read into it. So now that you read into it, it says then it says a blank space, pledge to be a good digital citizen. I would do my best to respect myself, respect others, and respect intellectual property. And I agree to the above, and then of course this is more of a adult and a kid therapy for my own contracts of analysis of digital citizenship agreements. Because you guys know I'm from Middle East, but I'm here in United States, So yes, you guys. So of course, on those contracts of digital citizenships of agreements, I respect myself, I protect myself, I respect others, I protect others, and I respect intellectual property. And I understand on my terms of a digital citizenship agreement award too. However, in the citizenships agreements, there's a different, that's like immigration lawyers. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so as a legal coach I have to go into thinking of immigration law. I understand that, but I understand on the judgment from my ancestors, we all came here from foreign countries, from our slaves, for their own jurisdictions of contracts for us to know too. So, but I understand on citizenship of contracts, that we're all just trying to have something to eat and be able to take care of our family and provide a good home and provide something safe of a vision for our purpose in life too. Not all of people in every citizenships all want to have a broken story just for they could say that was the best citizenship award for us to agree upon too. Cause no, but for digital citizenship agreements, this was this one that I got on Google. So of course you can find like contracts on how to write a contract. Of course, you can talk to your lawyer, because your lawyer, I'm a legal coach, so I write my contracts. That's because I'm a legal woman. So I write my contracts. And of course, I take it in very substantial evidence of demographic of contract terms of policies, of course, because that's business. It's a business outlook of contracts. And especially in a contract law, it's the best of intellectual properties of a contract, too, because it's the deem of mark of justice. So, yeah, but this one was just a child and a parent signature for dual citizenship agreement. So, of course, you guys, this was just basically a theory of contracts, just so you guys to see a contract on citizenship or digital citizenship agreements. So that means it's internet because digital is just internet. But for immigration policies, citizenship agreements are something much more, but overall, I know for immigration that we're just all trying to have the best outlook of life too. That's why we came from different countries just to come here, not just by force, because some of us all came by force. We were forced out of our home. We were forced to go somewhere, and then we were forced to eat somewhere. Yeah, because that's sometimes happen when citizenship agreements are not met in the best comprehension, because you have the agreements to respect yourself, protect yourself, and respect others. But remember, classifying as a color of jurisdictions, we have to understand of our legal secretary terms too, because the brightest way of justice is what? To actually understand on contract terms or policies too. Because how can I respect myself, protect myself when everybody doesn't like my color? That's just 18-year-old thinking, you guys. Of course, this is my channel. This is not a reactions video, so I don't have to classify it under 18-year-old thinking only. But on the reality side, if I can't respect myself, protect myself, how is others supposed to respect others? And how am I supposed to protect others? And respect intellectual property, like the internet and intellectual property and bookstores and everything else, history, Google, writing up things like what happened in 1856 about the mark of slavery, what all went wrong, what happened during those difficult times, because I am half Mexican too, and I have a Hispanic man who was my ex-husband, He's not my man now, but he's my ex-husband, but we're still on good terms because, he's like my business partner for me too. So it's like, it's like my husband is Arabic though. That's my modern day Arabic husband. But my baby daddy is a Hispanic man. So, and then of course, Porque Miano, it's this, I speak my own Spanish because the translation from slavery history, because that was the mark of a history of a beast, because then it was when we kept blending ourselves so as we didn't want to go extinct of our color because people in their racist protocols of viewpoint on us. So of course, how can we protect ourselves and respect others if we cannot even protect and respect our own selves, So that's all what it basically theorized in my mind as. I can't respect myself if I can't protect myself the best way. And the only best way I can protect myself is to be able to protect myself. But no, you have to protect others and respect others. But what if the others are trying to bring damage upon me? So what am I supposed to respect then? That's why I became a self-defense empowerment coach. So I can put the justice of a legal standpoint of jurisdictions, and self-defense of empowerment coaching too. So I put it in the best of brightest of ways, because life does have difficult times, but life does have best times too. So you guys probably seen one of this. This is an agreement with employment. So of course, the employee is the teacher. I'm like a teacher, and the employer is the institute. So this is just an example of some contracts, just to let you know. This is this employment agreement. So you guys know how, like, if we don't have like our overall accomplishment, like a bachelor's, master's, or associate, of course, then we have to have some type of agreement for our education sense of acknowledgments. Like, do we have a high school diploma? Do we have a GED? You guys do know that education is a very important topic, because without education, people think of us as we're not the best of judgment, because we're not. I don't know why that's just stigmatizing, saying that only one person's smarter because one person got the high school diploma, and then the other person just got a GED, but GED and high school diploma is still the evaluation of something. But if you don't have an education, what is it the mark of? Well, now you got to find a job. There's hard jobs that you could find when you don't have your education. There's a lot of hard jobs because, that's a lot of hard jobs because, there's a lot. Like, there's a lot of hard jobs when you don't have your education on. So, that's why, as a legal woman, I tell you guys to understand that your education is a vital sense for your existence. Meaning your high school diploma, making your mark in this world, saying I completed my high school diploma, even if you don't want to go to get a degree, at least saying that you decided to take secondary education, just so your ancestors will feel like my child is actually telling me something for myself too. That at least am I educated enough to talk about what I need to talk about. That's why, because it's just for your own purpose. Because something to say what you stand on is better than nothing to stand on. So, and of course, we all stand of the mark of history, because history was a beast, and history is a beast that wants to remain. But we're not going to allow history to happen again, because we're more educated and we're more knowledgeable to know that we're stronger than what history wanted to endure on us again. Because history was a mark of a mark, and we're not having the same mark of history upon our lives again, because we're more educated. So when we take education, you guys, it builds us up for the justice of substantial evidence that we're more smarter than what we were, you know. So that's why on employment agreements, it's all about your own education, also to understand too, for your own analysis, if you will make it, and you will make it, because it just builds you up. It builds you in the brightest way. That's when education really is important. Like my husband's Middle Eastern. I have an Arabic man. That's my king. That's my husband. I love my man. But my baby daddy's a Hispanic man. And yes, both of them do have their high school diplomas. You guys, yes, they both have had their high school diplomas. Yes, I was hard on them to educate them to have high school diplomas too. So they do have their high school diplomas also. So yeah. But overall, like my baby daddy, he's a businessman, and my husband is a doctor. So, it's very, very, I'm very grateful for the people of man in my life, because they gave me the biggest, brightest vision of myself, too, because I'm a businesswoman and I'm a colored woman and I'm a mark of history, too. And they gave me the best of acknowledgments for me to know too about myself too, because they're in my life as my partnership of business too, to understand on a theoretical approach also. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy. So this one is a construction contract agreement. What this one means, like, if you are working in the construction world, this one, you should already know what this contract is. Of course, I tell you to watch your safety, of course. That's why there's a HIPAA regulation for HIPAA. There's a HIPAA for medical reasonings. That's what HIPAA stands for, you guys, just to let you guys know. HIPAA is medical. But OSHA, Occupational Health Administration, OSHA is for your safety. Okay, so understand the outlook of construction fields and a contract of agreement to understand of why OSHA has their safety regulations for you. Okay, so remember, power drills, you got to make sure you use them proper, of course. You know, when you see something wrong, make sure you don't stand on it, okay? Make sure you understand and address the concerns for OSHA supervisions, for they can understand too that you understood why they looked after you, because they don't want you to fall and they don't want you to hurt yourself. But if you understand this construction agreement of contract terms too, now that you know this too, you take your safety a better precaution of mindset, not just because I heard a lot of stories of people just doing things that are really horrible. You know, like they didn't understand, they were doing roofing and then they didn't understand. Basically, I made an accident, and you know, the accident was like a very ending of a disastrous mindset because they weren't looking after their own safety. That's why OSHA, you know, I like OSHA, ASHA. It both means the same thing in my mind. It's just somebody's own way of trying to say it. Because OSHA, ASHA, it's like I know how to say what I'm saying. I know who they are still. OSHA, Administration of Health and Safety. Yes, I know who I'm talking about. Okay, so I know what I'm talking about. You know, so that's why, because it's not that, you guys. It's not that I'm mad. It's just when people try to say you're opinionated on someone else's own thinking because they want to deem you on like a negative mindset to say that you don't know as much as what you're supposed to know because you don't know how to mention their names the best of way. It's not that, because OSHA, I know who they are. Like HIPAA, I know who HIPAA is. FEMA, I know who FEMA is. Central Disease Control, I know who Central Disease Control is. Public Health Defense, I know who Public Health Defense is. You know, so I understand, but remember, we're doing everything as a legal woman standpoint for myself. It's all because we're just looking after your safety. That's all. We're looking after your safety. Okay, that's why we have laws in place in order and federal, criminal, labor laws, and everything else. It was themed for your own safety. But I also know self protection is a theory of understanding too, because there's a lot of self defense territory terms of contracts and agreements also in the legal world to know too. So that's why I became a legal coach, because if I became a lawyer, went to school to become a lawyer, passed my state exam and everything else, it's a long journey. It's a very long journey and it's very costly. So, I wanted to do everything in a legal coaching because I'm not trying to be against lawyers because we're all working with each other at the end anyway. Because a lawyer wanted to go to schooling for what they deemed as their mark to be like, oh, education, labor, marriage, what is this a lot, commission, there's so much. However, as a legal woman and a legal coach, I took it in the brightest way to let them know that I'm governed and legal, and understanding of the court rulings and understand of supreme justice also. So, yes, you guys. So, I was just letting you guys understand also. So, for bookkeeping contracts, you guys, it's best that, don't get me wrong, if you have a financial advisor, of course, remember, you're an adult, so you'll take care of your own substantial, because I'm not going to be in a judgment of anybody's financial, because I'm a financial coach, you guys, so that's what I am. But of course, if you have a financial advisor, I know that's your own contract with them. I'm not in your guys' contract as a legal secretary or legal coach. It's not in my demographic to break anything down in your own financial advisors, because that's a contract between you and your financial advisors. I take care of my own bookkeeping because I track it and manage my progress of my own financial report and my own investments and everything else. That's what I do, and that's why I made my own investing to platform to show you guys of how I do my investing, so you can learn stocks training with me also. And I am working on my investing coaching platform. So, of course, I do have a contract about investing. So, if you wanted to join the membership about investing and learn about investing, of course, it's coming soon, you guys. Of course, there's just so many bright things that's on its way. And I'm so thankful for each and opportunity that I make every day because life has a purpose for us. Life does have a purpose. Life does have a purpose. There's a reason why we're still here, and there's a reason why nothing left in our life like that. And we don't want nothing to leave in our life without us understanding that we have justice on our side too, because we can self protect ourselves and we can take care of ourselves too. Because now, since we learned everything what we learned in history, we're better off taking care of ourselves the best of way too. So So you guys, this is gonna probably be I think this is let me see, hold on, let me see how many more. Okay, you guys, so this is a student contract. As a student, you guys, I'm a student just like you're a teacher, and I'm a teacher just like you're a student because that's the best way we learn from each other. You guys, you got to think about caveman days, you guys, hundreds and hundreds of years, thousands of years ago, when dinosaurs and everything else was on this earth. Before dinosaurs, even dinosaurs, you guys, they had to learn how to hunt food because obviously that's why they stayed in their packs to go after food. Yes, you guys, yes, of course, So of course in dinosaur days and ages, because it's so many ages, you guys, it's so many crazy of announcements where people want to think about dinosaurs were walking among us not that long ago, because if dinosaurs are really walking around us, you guys, we will have so many dinosaur bones right now to look at. Like, oh, it's just history, or just fast forward, and here we are now. It's like, yeah, no. Yeah, history is fast. Yes, life is fast paced. Yes, it is. But no, dinosaurs are not walking among us. Like, oh, we're seeing dinosaurs in the sky. If I seen a dinosaur in the sky, I will cry because I don't want to look at no T-Rex or Rexsaurus talk about, oh, yeah. Like, you ain't about to eat my head off. Shoot. It's a dinosaur in the sky, y'all. Look, imagine greater. Yes, I'm imagining greater too. But a dinosaur in the air? Hey, I don't want to see no dinosaur in no air. Why would I want to see a dinosaur in the air? Yeah, there's a dinosaur. Just a look. There's a dinosaur. I used to think planes were dinosaurs. Yeah, of course. Yeah, because it's flying. Of course, but in reality, that's not a dinosaur. It's a plane. It was engineered. It was designed to be a plane. It was not a flying object of like a species of like, it's humans on the aircraft, yes, but it's not a mark of a dinosaur flying, because our imaginations when we were young, you guys, that's why, take our own imagination into sense, for students and teachers to students, the imagination in the air of like dinosaurs just makes us triple and just gets imaginary, so yeah, but of course, you guys, this is just what we learn every day in school, with my therapist channel, because this is what you'll learn as my student. As a learner, it's my responsibility to, as a learner, it's your responsibility just to open your own thinking. That's all. It's a psychology in your own thinking of manners. It's nothing deemed as I'm strictly forcing your therapy. No, that's why some of you like my channel and some of you don't. It's okay. I'm thankful for you coming to my channel, of course, because at least you heard my story too as a YouTube partnership business advocator also. And I thank you. I thank you for understanding me too, and I thank you in a legal way too, because this brings the best of knowledge for me to know too for conflict resolution. Because I'm a Scorpio, you guys, and some people think of it as when someone's not liking their stuff, that means they don't like them. It's nothing like that. It's just we're teachers and students. We're students and teachers. and we're just teaching each other the rights and wrongs of life too. So of course, these are my goals. I'm trying to get myself together was the biggest goal that we all have as a student and teacher. We're just trying to get ourselves together. That's the reason why in preschool, kindergarten, all the way up to high school, and all the way up to if you go to college or not, we're just all just in a mark of just trying to get ourselves together. That's just the best. So when we have bad days, good days, all it is just the mark of just trying to find what we need to do to get ourselves in the best way of life. Because that's all. That's all we ever try to do. We're just all just trying to get ourselves together. So these are the steps I can take to help meet my goals. And these are my consequences if I don't meet my goals. And these are my rewards if I meet my goals. Everybody at the end of that theory of what it says, these are my rewards if I met my goals. The rewards are your own truth for yourself. Your own happiness is your own overall goal. That's all as a spiritual woman and as a spiritual therapist, a spiritual life therapist too, and a spiritual woman and a satanic lawyer. All it is the justice of legal also, of course, because I'm ancestry days of 3,500 years ago. So all it is, the best rewards for me to meet my goals is for my own happiness. Am I happy? Because take a look at yourself. Are you happy? Are you honestly happy? Are you hurt? Are you in pain? Because, of justice and mindset, of course, if you're hurt or you're in pain, there's someone you need to go talk to about your hurt and pain. That's why I made my channel a therapy. Because when you're in hurt or you're in pain, there's some therapy that's needed from you that's not in a classification of just a therapist alone. Because of course, go to your doctors, go to your therapists, because they have their purpose of why they're there for you, of course. But on my channel, of course, you guys, for therapy on my channel, you guys, it's just to let you understand that your rewards in this life is so good. As long as you understand that you have a purpose in this world too. You have a purpose for your happiness. You have a purpose why you went through pain. You have a purpose for every mark that you ever dreamed for yourself too. There's a dream that you dreamed for yourself too, just like you have your own purpose. Because everybody all has a purpose, in this world. We live in this world for a purpose. If we didn't have a purpose, why did we come to this earth then? Why were we born? When we were born, we had a purpose, right? When we were born, we had a purpose. Because there was a purpose or reasoning why we were born on this world. There's a reasons why different there's colors, but there's a different purpose when we both walked among us when we were kids and we had friends that were younger and they said, this is my amigo, this is my friend. Yeah, hey friend, how are you? How are you, my friend? How are you? Because of course, I never lost touch with my child ages of theory because obviously as a grown woman, I didn't change myself. No. People always request the changes. They request to see a change of themselves. Because we're adults, you guys. So, of course, in mental psychology, we take the theoretical approach of our own mind, too. Because that's the sense of therapy. That's what, as a spiritual woman and a spiritual therapist, that's why I made my channel. And that's the reason why I do different therapies for like self-esteem, psychology, mental, and so much more. And of course, I went through a great amount of abuse as a child. So of course, as a student learning from a teacher, the abuse that I went through was not the best of abuse. It was a lot of abuse that I went through. But at least I know as a grown woman, as I am, or a grown man, or whatever way you want to say it, because I'm taking care of my businesses, I have to. That's what makes me a grown woman, and that's what makes me a grown man. I'm taking care of my business like I had to. So that makes me a grown up. That makes me grown. Because I'm taking care of what I had to take care of. So, yeah. This is the standards of promissory notes. So with the promissory notes, you guys, this is when justice is served of a promissory note of claims. Okay, so this is a promissory note. when you say a promissory note, this is what you're declaring of a promissory note. Sorry, no, I was laying down, you guys. Sorry, I'm in my bed laying down, because I'm just filming this from. That's what I love about YouTube's home businesses and stuff like that, because it's a good opportunity so you can understand your own mission and understand your own purpose and have your own therapy where other people else want to explore your own thinking too for advice too for them to think of too, of course. But it's never forced. Therapy is never forced. Therapy is your own chosen therapy, not forced therapy. So, but of a standard of a promissory note, you speak thy truth, you hold thy truth. You hold thy truth in thy heart, you hold thy truth in thy voice, so that way you can actually speak of thy truth. So that way you can understand of your standard of a promissory note that you spoke the best way you had to speak. So that's why it's a promissory note. Because you spoke your truth. You spoke your truth in the realization of your truth. And that's a promissory note of sanctions. Because that's what a promissory note is. Like on the day of, here and after, known as the start date and the borrower's name, known as the borrower has received and promised to pay back the lender, but payments, the full balance of this note, including all interest and late fees, is due and payable on the date requested. Installments, lump sums, installments, a weekly, monthly, or quarterly basis. The late fees, the securities, if it's unsecured or if it's secure. So it's just all of the promissory note of what you understand and realize at the end of your contracts too. There's a promissory note which you made when you said, if you borrow this lump sum of money, can you pay this money back? That's a promissory note of what you described. So just so you can understand from a legal woman and a legal secretary coach too, that's what a promissory note is. And now I just want to talk about this last one. This is a business purchase agreement. Okay, so if you're a corporation, so if you're a sole person, all it means is basically it's your own business. I know they have a lot of tricky words and business. It's okay. Everybody starts from somewhere in their business, of course. I'm LLC, limited liability company, because it's my just best way of practice, because it's the justice of the viewpoint. Because when you own your name, and that's your name, of course, but it's how you carry your name of what you do in your own business practice. Limited liability of company meaning you're sanctioned by some theoretical approaches. But of course, what you say to someone else is demographed as disrespectful or respectful based on the way you said it. So of course, corporations is like the ones that are very upscale, like Walmart, Target, the big Best Buy. Those are corporations. Those are big businesses. Like they're really big businesses. So there's a lot of different things. Limited partnership meaning we're in a partnership is limited of terms of partnership. So there's like, oh, I need 500 house is built by, that's a limited a partnership, because once when the partnership is done, that contract is done because you built, because that's construction, because my ex is Hispanic, so I know, because he used to work in the construction field too. So but if it's like you need 500 houses built, that's a limited partnership, because once when you're done with the building of all those houses, then where does your contract go? Thank you. Thank you for the completion. Thank you for getting this done. Thank you. I'm glad that you got everything done in a timely manner. Thank you. Here's the pay that I owe you also. Thank you. Because that's a limited partnership. Of course, you guys got to go through different words of all these different ones, because there's so many, of course, to understand. Because there's just so much. But this is a business purchase of agreement. Of course, this is where the seller owns and operates a business known as a business name and everything else. So, of course, my name is my own business. So, it's my own spiritual channel, and it's me just speaking as a spiritual life therapist and deeming my contract as it is. So, so yeah, because I'm a limited liability company, meaning, of course, I say it in the best way, of course, of announcements, because your therapist is your therapist. I'm not trying to tell you to go off your therapist. Your therapist was the best therapist for you. Your doctor was the best doctor for you because they had the purpose why they was with you all along too. Okay, so all those other thinkings of anything else, no, it's the operation that they had their story for you too. So just so you understand. My channel, I'm a natural woman. I like natural medicine. I like natural therapy so I can relax my mind and deem my own justice a point of view for myself and a knowledge for, so yeah, you guys. But and corporations and all of these other ones, these are all just theoretical approach to standards. So when you open a business, this is just a positive outlook for you to understand too. Like which terms of service do you want to open up? So there's a corporation, there's this one, there's a limited liability company partnership. Limited partnership. A partnership is just meaning your business is working with another business. A limited partnership means this business is only temporary until the business is substantial for how it's deemed to be. And a limited liability partnership means we're not liable, but we're liable only at the limit of terms of our partnership. So there's just so many business comprehension to understand in the business arrangement of partnerships and contracts of business manners. So this was a business purchase agreement. So of course, you guys, I want to say thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. But I thank you guys. Of course, I don't want to take no much more of your time. Of course, you guys, everything has your own life purpose. You have your own purpose in life, just like I have my own purpose. And that's why I'm so glad that I had this opportunity with you guys. And I want to say thank you, you guys. But of course, I'm not going to take much of your time. I'm going to let you get back to your purpose in life. And I want to say thank you for watching this channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Like, subscribe, leave comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And of course, this was my own freedom of advice, of my own mindset, of course, because I'm a life coach still too. So I'm still learning on. That's why I have legal secretaries, and YouTube partnership and the law also, because it's in balance of harmony. That's why I'm not a lawyer. I am a lawyer, but I'm a lawyer from ancestry. That's why I'm like, oh, because people always say I'm ancient aliens, so they're trying to say, oh, well, back then you were an alien, so okay, so I'm a synthetic lawyer then. Okay, I'm an alien that never existed on this planet. So okay, then I guess as above, so below, because I guess that just means I'm an alien, right? So yeah, I never existed. But yeah, you guys, but I'm not gonna take no more of your time. I want to say thank you, you guys. Like, subscribe, leave comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.